Welcome back everyone, my name is Echo and I hope you're having a great day. Today's Minecraft video, we're back on Minecraft Pocket Edition, the Bedrock version for a brand new 1.16 beta. This is not a troll, like you, I was massively surprised. But today we've had the release of the beta version 1.16.20.50. These numbers are getting absolutely insane. So this is available for Android, Windows 10, and Xbox. Now this is very good news because in the space of 24 hours, the Bedrock team has been able to push out a massive bug fix list, including tweaks, including a brand new mob, by the way, called the Brute. It's a new type of Piglin. I'll show you in today's video. We also have some parity changes. So earlier on, I brought you guys a video with a couple of bugs and issues. It seems like they have been fixed in 1.16.20.50. Let's hope that these bug fixes and changes can get pushed to a full release. So I would kind of expect maybe 1.16.1 for the Bedrock version to release sooner rather than later. Right guys, that being said, let's go into game. Let's go through all these changes and let's check out this brand new mob introduced today. So everything you're about to see on a sign is a change, is a fix, is a tweak, is a new feature introduced. It took me quite some time to set up today's video. Guys, can we try and smash 5,000 likes? I would really appreciate it. First thing I want to mention, if you're just interested in the new mob and seeing it in its natural habitat, feel free to skip ahead. But I highly recommend keeping updated with all of these changes. So you'll notice at the background, it says Netherite and it's got like a black background. Now, from my understanding, I believe this is linked to accessibility. Now, I was quite sure that they would have fixed this today. They may have fixed this today. It might be because I have a specific add-on that is still showing this. But a lot of you guys were reporting it, so hopefully it has been fixed for your versions. Okay, so let's start off with the new mob. This is no joke. This is a Piglin Brute. They're kind of classing the Bastion Remnants to be too easy to loot. Now, if we type in Piglin, as you guys can see, we have zombified Piglin, we have the natural Piglin, and of course, we now have the Brute one as well. I'll tell you all about these. So this is a regular one, and this is the Brute one. Before we go over information, this one will turn into a zombified Piglin, and so will this one inside the overworld. I have a resource pack on that turns them back into pigmen rather than zombified Piglin. So let's learn about this, because a couple of things to learn about it. So, new Brute Piglin mob. Brute Piglins live in the Bastion Remnants and protect treasure, gold, chests, etc. Unlike the other Piglins, they cannot be distracted by gold. Brute Piglins attack players on sight no matter what armor the player is wearing. Brute Piglins wield an axe. So you probably noticed that Piglins have a crossbow or have a gold sword. The Brutes have an axe. An axe is meant to be classed as more powerful than a sword in Minecraft. It is on Java Edition. But yeah, man, look at check out the new stuff he's wearing. They do look mean. They've also kind of got like a scar on their eyes as well. Yeah, don't mess around with these ones. So if you're just interested in these, I will show you guys inside the Nether towards the end of today's video, so stick around. Getting into some changes and bug fixes. Baby pigs now despawn correctly. So there was a chance that if you had a baby piggy, the adult one would despawn, but the babies wouldn't. Messing around with the spawn limit once again. That has already been fixed. Let me just do /clear. Dolphins, fish, squids now spawn in bubble columns again. So if you have specific farms linked to any of these, you're absolutely savage, just saying. But these will now spawn inside of here naturally now. Hey, Mr. Squiddo. And the dolphins as well. No dolphins were hurt in the making of today's video. But yeah, that now happens. This is an interesting one. And this is them listening to feedback. Mobs' max spawn radius is now 44 blocks. So this is the despawn to do with how far away they will despawn and spawn. Something I've highly noticed in 1.16, especially as a survival player, is things spawning and despawning where you're at. So if you're at a blaze farm, they're going to spawn at a blaze farm. As soon as you leave, they despawn. They're not always staying there. I've noticed an increase of ghasts spawning, which is a pain, but it feels good to actually have a fixed spawn limit on the Bedrock version. Walls now connect to open trap doors like this. So if you have this open, they will deattach, as you guys can see here. Pretty good feature. I guess this was just reported and they went ahead and fixed it. Again, making it very similar to the Java version. The next one, walls now connect to glass blocks. So now they fully connect. What was happening previously is this side and this side were not classed as being connected. This is one of the greatest features introduced, by the way. It makes building so much better. The next one, breaking furnaces now drops the stored XP from smelting. Not sure if it works in creative. It does work in creative. So if you are currently smelting things and you break the furnace, you will get the XP back. That was a bug. That's how it should technically work. The next one, stem blocks now break again when the below block is destroyed. So if you were to break this, which I'm going to do, the stem would not break previously. It now breaks correctly. So that has now been fixed. Very simple bug, but that's what was happening. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I'm right. Bone meal on flowers or grass no longer consumes the item if nothing can grow. So if you're in a radius, it's going to be hard for me to show you this, but if you're in a radius where there's no spaces for this to grow, and you still tapped on it, it would take away one of your bone meal. From my understanding, if there is no way for the grass or for the flower to grow or spread or to be given back to the player, it won't consume the bone meal. So you can see here, that's setting off particles. I believe that's still working. I'm not sure how far it is, but you can see here the particles have gone. So I'm guessing that means that it's not consuming my bone meal. It's kind of hard to tell because I have just one. I'm in creative. Probably best to check these kind of things in survival. The next one here, with a health bar, no longer depletes to 0 after half of the health has gone. So whenever you killed a wither in 1.16, or attacked a wither, should I say, when it gets past halfway, the health bar would go all the way down. Kind of acting as if you had killed it, but you hadn't. Players were getting really, really confused. The next one. Oh, we got two guests. There was a chicken in there before. Boats no longer slow down by objects with no collision. So a couple of examples here. Buttons, redstone dust, and signs. See the way you can walk through these and walk over these and they don't slow you down. They would previously slow down a boat. If you go over these or past these or through these, they will no longer slow you down. There's a whole list of things that this included. I just put a couple in there for example. Ambient cave sounds no longer play in marketplace maps. Slime blocks pushed by pistons launch players correctly. Soul fires now emit the correct light level. The next one, climbing vines now emit sounds. Now, one thing they have not changed or not introduced, which is a parity feature, whenever you get a water bottle and you pick up water with that water bottle, it doesn't make a sound. It's completely silent. That's yet to be introduced. Not sure if it's a bug or just a parity feature that is yet to be introduced. Correct sounds for nether wart placement. Again, a really simple parity change. Finally, those kind of things have been introduced to the game. The next one, placing/stepping on warped/crimson materials or planks now makes the correct wood sound. So now actually sounds like you are standing on wood, which it should. Next one, hoglins no longer attack on peaceful mode when too close to the players. Piglins can no longer spawn on shroomlight. So they were naturally spawning on shroomlight. Can we just really appreciate how beautiful this block is, by the way? It's so much better than glowstone. It's a renewable light source as well, but they were spawning in trees on that stuff. That's no longer a thing. Tamed wolves no longer disappear when returning to overworld through nether portals. So yeah, a lot of people were having issues on 1.16 that their cats and animals such as dogs were then starting to become unregistered. They weren't named. They weren't reacting to the player who claimed them. Piglins can now spawn on peaceful mode. Hallelujah for this one. So I talked about this earlier on in my video. It's now been fixed. Well, not yet. If you're in 1.16.0, if you're not in this beta version, it has not been fixed yet. But it has been fixed, but not pushed to a full release. Netherite items no longer bounces on lava. There is actually two things I want to go through in this one. But let's just do this to start off with. First thing is they no longer bounce. They were bouncing, which was not meant to happen. There's still like a slide animation. Kind of acts like ice. That's still not perfect. So I expect that to possibly change if we get another beta, whether it's this week or next week. That is not meant to happen. I'll explain a couple more about that in a second because we have the same one over there. Let's just quickly get rid of these because we do not need them. The next one we have here. Netherite armor now has unique sounds when putting on. Okay. It's still similar to chain though in sounds, from my understanding. But yeah, it now has a much better sound. Zoglins no longer sound like normal pigs. I showed you this one earlier on as well. They now sound mean. Poor little chicken, run, Yeah, they now sound mean, like they should do. So that's something I did cover earlier on. Speed of credits roll is no longer dependent on your frame rate. / locate command no longer returns placement text holder. Basically, whenever you typed in a specific location command, it would pop up with this in return. Really weird. Hypher blocks no longer takes as long as stem blocks to destroy. The tooltip open no longer shows when looking at piglins, as if you could open a piglin's mouth or chest or something. I don't know. Piglins' arms now behave like players, not like zombie mobs. So they're acting more of the player. The way they walk, the way they move, rather than acting like a zombie style, which is like, yeah, you guys know it. Piglins killed with a single bow while admiring... No, that's wrong. Piglins killed with a single blow while admiring gold ingot now drops the gold ingot. So if you have a piglin, you have a maxed out sword, they're admiring it, you kill him, it will drop the gold. Anything they then taken, you cannot get that back. Fixed item dupes when reloading a world while piglins admire items. You guys, man, you guys like to find little dupes, don't you? That's now been fixed. You can no longer dupe. Well, you can until it's fully released. Netherite items in lava no longer disappear when reloading world. Two things about this. So, I need to check if they've fixed this, actually, dudes. Ancient debris. They are not meant to burn. In lava or in fire, they are not meant to burn. And I know this because I play Java Edition as well. That has not been fixed. I was told that was going to be fixed. So, it looks like this still hasn't been fixed. This is not meant to burn. Even though it's a debris, it's still a form of netherite. It's not meant to burn. It's the same in fire as well. So, yeah, that's not technically been fixed. Updated piglin geometry and entity files, fixing scale items from baby to adult. So, if a piglin, that's baby, is holding something, maybe it's armor, maybe it's a weapon, it actually grows up in size. Basically, the adults were having tiny ones, tiny swords. Yeah, that would be cool, though, right? That's been fixed. Quartz block can no longer be created from chiseled quartz block on the stone quarter. I think that makes sense, right? That would make sense. So chiseled can't make normal quartz. Okay, the next one. Quartz bricks can no longer be crafted from anything but quartz blocks from the stone cutter. How beautiful is this block, by the way? Can we just appreciate how good this block looks as well? Big fan. Decorations and people's creations with that is going to be fun. Target blocks. Zones for particular redstone signal strength are no longer misplaced because of old arrow geometry. We no longer try to draw netherite in the beacon UI. Can somebody explain this to me? I have no idea what that means. We no longer try to draw netherite in the beacon UI. Setting soul sand on fire no longer produces a placeholder soul fire block on pre-nether versions locked content, so worlds before 1.16. Piglins no longer drop up to a full stack of gold ingots upon giving them one by right-clicking and reloading world while admiring gold. Instead, it drops something from its loot table, all to do with logging in and logging out when they're currently in some form of action, as an example, admiring the gold. Piglins no longer pick entire stacks of gold, and with a boss bar now reappears when returning from dimension. So if you're fighting it in the overworld, you then pop into the nether and come back, it was disappearing. That's now been fixed. The last few we have here is piglins no longer spawn with enchanted gear. That's kind of a case of, but why though? I like them spawning with enchanted gear. Husks now prefer iron armor over chain armor. Player can no longer interact with piglin babies. Fixed recipe when crafting barrel with warped / crimson. I think it's with slabs. So yeah, they are all of the changes. A lot of changes. Now, like I said at the start of today's video, I want to focus on the Piglin Brute in a little bit more detail. Also, can I just appreciate this generation? I love what they've done in this world, but like this thing spawned in a basalt delta. They have not fixed the roof, you know, like, because these are meant to spawn in the roof. They still haven't fixed the dimension changes. That's all down to a priority from my understanding. It's not a priority fix. What I've showed you today, they are classing as a priority fix. Let's do / locate Bastion Remnant. And let's go. So I've actually had the pleasure of taking one of these on in survival. And there's a couple of things I want to show you here, and I'm going to do this in survival. So let's just grab ourselves some netherite, because it's the strongest. We'll go helmet, we'll go with this, we'll go with this, and we will grab ourselves some gold. We'll go with golden boots. So golden boots are a distraction. Any form of gold that your player is wearing is a distraction for piglins, meaning that you can kind of get away from them, you know? Now I'm going to also grab myself some enchanted golden apples, and probably grab myself a netherite sword as well, especially if we are doing this in survival. Before we do this though, there is a brute here. They are different from ordinary piglins, so it looks like they mix and match. Now, these guys, right, so / game mode survival, they don't mind. These guys don't mind you. They are happy to be around you. These guys are not. They do not like when you are here. They will attack you regardless of you wearing gold. I also believe they are a little bit stronger as well. However, if you do attack one of them, then as you guys can see, holy... So that is what is meant to happen. They've made it so it's a little bit more difficult. They are actually incredibly strong. So even with, like, netherite, you gotta be really, really careful with these things. They seem to be... no messing around. Like, you're coming in for their loot, they're coming in for your head. Although I feel like the Remnants aren't as good as they are on Java. Regardless, we now have the Piglin, and we now have the Brute Piglin as well. I think it's a good introduction. People wanted some form of kind of boss in here. It's not really a boss, but they are going to be tough. You're going to have to kill them. And killing them is then going to really annoy the Piglins. So, it's going to get a lot harder. Kind of happy I defeated this on survival before they introduced that. But guys, have a great day. Stay beautiful. If you did enjoy today's video, hit that like button. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.